Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and today I'm gonna live react to the Goodreads Choice Awards, and we are also gonna cast my vote. So if you are not interested in seeing the results, you haven't checked them out for yourself yet, please feel free to watch another one of my videos. I'll put one up on the screen right now. Like, subscribe, but if you are interested to see what I think should win for all these categories, stay tuned. So we're gonna get our screen recording. We're recording, everything is good, fine and dandy. So let's just go right to cast your vote. Okay, so as we can see here, nominees on your shelves, we have fiction, historical fiction, mystery and thriller, romance, romantic fantasy, sci-fi, horror, debut novel, audiobook, adult, young adult, fantasy and sci-fi, young adult fiction, nonfiction, memoir, and history and biography. So I may or may not be able, I'm probably gonna vote. I think I'm gonna vote in every one that I have read at least one thing in that category. I think that's fair. I don't know if I will be able to vote for, actually, I can already tell you I can vote for nonfiction because I've read The Service Berry and it was fantastic. So that one we're good. Memoir, history, and biography, and then the two YA categories I'm a little iffy about. I'm probably 50-50, but I'm just going to start with fiction, and I think it lets you like continue clicking forward. Yeah, then it goes to historical fiction. Okay. Readers' favorite fiction. So this is the opening round, which means like this is kind of like a tournament type of tree situation where the Goodreads people, the people of Goodreads are voting for their initial choices, and then it's going to go one step further, and then we get our book of the year for all of these categories, and then I think just like the Goodreads one book of the year as well, if I'm remembering correctly. So I definitely see some books on here that I recognize. My Friends by Frederick Bachman, The Names by Florence Knapp. I do want to read both of those. I have not yet. And also Wild Dark Shore. I definitely want to read as well. And I actually have that on my Everend account, which I resubscribed, immediately got annoyed that you have to like buy, like you can only unlock 3 of the good books and then the rest of them are just nonsense that I'm never gonna read. So I unlocked 3 books, one of them being Wild Dark Shore because I really wanted to read it, and I canceled my subscription. So neither here nor there. I would like to read the new Wally Lamb because I used to love Wally Lamb when I was in high school, but I haven't read any of these. So I personally don't think it's, like, I'm not gonna vote for something if I haven't read it, but it kind of makes me want to read Wild Dark Shore like this week. So those are the choices for fiction. I'm not ever really surprised that I don't necessarily have anything to say about this category, but it at least has some titles on here that are on my TBR. So let me know in the comments if there is a particular category that I'm not picking one that you are like, oh my god, this is the book of the year. Let me know because I'll add that to my TBR as well. If I had to vote, it probably would be Wild Dark Shore because I have read Charlotte McConaughey before, but we're moving on. Readers' favorite historical fiction. We have quite a few on here that I am at least familiar with, and actually one that I have read that I will vote for because it was really good. So I read Junie. I gave it 4 stars. This is by Erin Crosby Eckstein. It very much reminds me of The Reformatory, not quite as grisly, not quite as gruesome, a little bit more of a paranormal twist on it, but if you've read The Reformatory or you are interested in that book, this is, I would say, similar and not quite as graphic and gruesome, a little bit more leaning towards the historical fiction side than the horror side, which The Reformatory certainly is. I've talked about The Reformatory far too much for it probably to not even be anywhere on here. So I am probably going to vote for this. I do have Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid on my TBR, and also The Hounding. This one is very, like, I think can be touted as horror. I've seen quite a few horror readers picking that one up. Again, I haven't read it yet. I have seen Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall, but this historical fiction and just fiction in general isn't like probably even in my top 5 genres anymore in this year of my Lord Satan 2025. So I'm gonna go ahead and vote for Junie. I voted yay because I have read it and I support this. Okay. I've seen some interesting takes on the mystery and thriller because it has 2 Frida McFadens on here. 3 Frida McFadens. Okay, yeah, that is insane. Number 1, I don't think Frida McFadden's a very good writer. I think she's very formulaic. I think at this point it could just be AI. It's so repetitive. It very much gives like Colleen Hoover, just like the same obnoxious, we don't need it story over and over again. But I feel like I might be being blasphemous. I have actually dabbled in a lot of books on here. So I've read King of Ashes. I read We Are All Guilty Here. I read Not Quite Dead Yet, and I read The Secret of Secrets by Dan Brown. So I DNF'd Famous Last Words. Imagine I was like, vote. I feel pretty confident here in my vote. I didn't care for Not Quite Dead Yet was probably like my least favorite. I gave that 3 stars. I also gave The Secret of Secrets 3 stars, but for the nostalgia of Dan Brown and my boy Robert Langdon, we're not including that. Like it was a better read than I would say this one. So I'm probably honestly gonna vote, I'm gonna vote for King of Ashes. I gave that one 5 stars. Like I knew I was going to as soon as I saw it, but I do think it's a little lame that Goodreads has put 3 books by the same author on here. There were so many other mystery or thriller books you guys could have put on here, except 2 out of the 3 Frida McFadens, but neither here nor there. All right, we're voting for King of Ashes romance. Let's see what I've read on here. Okay, well, I at least have my vote. So I feel like the romance one is where people, like a lot of us, are really gravitating towards and probably have a lot to say. Allie Hazelwood is on here twice. I'm probably never going to read Deep End because it's more YA leaning. I did read Problematic Summer Romance and I fucking hated it. I gave it 2 stars and I just recently DNF'd Mate. So I do think I'm done with Allie Hazelwood. I think her writing has kind of gotten pretty, again, formulaic, cliche, millennial, like cash grab-ish compared to The Love Hypothesis when it first came out. I also have not read Say Over Memory by Abby Jimenez, which is very disappointing to me because I love Abby Jimenez, and I actually did pick up the audio when it first came out, and all the references to Rhysand, the main male character looking like Rhys from Court of Akatar, I was like, no. So I have also read The Favorites by Lane Fargo, which I didn't really think was anything to write home about, and First Time Caller, which I gave 5 stars. I love BK Borison. This is the only one that I've read by her. I'm very much excited for book 2 in this little series, and I do want to read like her holiday collection. Maybe I'll get to it this year. I haven't read Beg, Borrow, or Steal yet either, but I do like this series by Sarah Adams, and we have another Brynn Weaver is on here twice. And Allie Hazelwood on here twice. Like, you guys could have not done this and given some attention to some other authors. What do you think about that? But you guys are fucking owned by Amazon, so I'm voting for First Time Caller. I loved it. It was 5 stars. Honestly, most of these, I still haven't read Great Big Beautiful Life either. I don't know. Contemporary romance lately has just not been hitting for me, so I haven't been reaching towards it, but we'll see. All right, Romantasy. Y'all picked books that I haven't even... Great, Mate DNF'd it. Well, I know what my choice is going to be. Onyx Storm. Why is this even on here? If this wins, I'll be so annoyed. I am very much done with the Fourth Wing series in the sense that I'm going to keep reading them, but it's not God tier for me by any means. I DNF'd Silver Elite. I'm never going to read Alchemized. That's a personal choice. I do actually want to read Direbound and Wild Reverence, but I just haven't got to them yet. I do want to continue the series too. I liked the first one following Araya and the other guy, Araya, yeah. I just haven't gotten to this duology, and I did just DNF Mate. I gave The Night and the Moth 5 stars. Really? Okay. I gave The Night and the Moth 5 stars. I read it when it first came out earlier this year, so that's definitely what I'm going to vote for. I haven't even heard of this one. I don't like cozy, and I've heard from people that I don't know how this has a 4.2 because everyone I know that has read Rose and Chains by Julie Soto was not a big fan. So I'm going to go ahead and vote for The Night and the Moth. I think Rachel Gillig can do no wrong. That's just a personal choice. Okay, so we're getting some votes in. Let's go to fantasy. I'm hoping that I have a lot of choices here. I do. So I've read, oh, this one's gonna be hard for me. I expected this category to be the one that I read the most in, and that is correct. So I have read Brandon Sanderson, Wind and Truth, Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil by Miss Schwab. I haven't read Joe Hill. I did just buy it the other day, and I returned Hemlock and Silver. I read The Everlasting by Alex E. Haro as an arc, and that was 5 stars. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I loved it. I think that one was, I feel like I'm missing my ratings lately. Drop of Corruption, Robert Jackson Bennett. That was a 5 star. Catabasis was just a 3 star for me. I feel like that might be an unpopular opinion, but I didn't love it. I'm going to vote for Alex E. Haro. This book is so beautiful, so haunting, so tragic. I'm still thinking about it. I want a hardcover copy of it. It's following Sir Una, who is a knight, and we converge timelines with a modern day professor who is obsessed with the lore of Sir Una and Meet Me Beneath the Yew Tree. It's so beautiful. So I'm voting for that. That was one of my favorite books of the entire year. So we're moving on to sci-fi. If you know what I'm smiling about, you know what I'm smiling about. So I have read also quite a few that are on here. I already know which one I'm going to pick. It is obviously Of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. How am I missing all these ratings? I have read all these books. Okay. I'm definitely going to be picking that one. Spoiler. But I also have read... What else did I read? Oh, The Dream Hotel. I actually haven't read as many of these as I thought. This one was just okay for me. The premise was really good, but it just wasn't completely there. I think I have this available to borrow on Libby. I just haven't yet, and I do want to read When the Moon Hits Your Eye. But this, Of Monsters and Mainframes, is one of my favorite books of the entire year. So we're going to be voting for that. Horror. Yeah. Perfect. I definitely have some choices here. Ooh, this one actually might be hard. Okay, so first let's go through what I have read. I have read The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I don't know that I like Stephen Graham Jones. I do know that he's kind of a polarizing author. Also, I just noticed one on here that I didn't notice the first time around that I'm absolutely going to be voting for, but let's hold a minute. I can tell you I'm not going to vote for this. What is happening? I read this. When did I read this? But I definitely did. Read. Okay, it says that I read it and the rating. That's weird. So I didn't love this, to be honest with you, so I don't think I'm going to be voting for that. Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCauley. I got as an ARC as well. That one was really fun. It's very slasher 80s coded, but it just was a little bit too kitschy for me, I think, to say it was the best of the year. The Lamb by Lucy Rose is pretty up there. I already have my vote in my head, but The Lamb by Lucy Rose was really, really good. That was one of my favorites of the year. When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, that was good as well. Chuck Tingle, Lucky Day. Not my favorite Chuck Tingle, but still really enjoyable. Like one of the more made you think ones that I've read by him. Hungerstone by Kat Dunn, another Carmilla retelling. It was one of the better ones again, but it's just nothing to write home about. What Hunger by Catherine Dang. Yes, this was very fucking good. I loved this quite a lot. Grady Hendrix, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. I did really like this one a lot. I think I gave both of these 4 stars, but again, I have one in my mind here. And the last one on this list that I have read is Stephen King, Never Flinch, which is another Holly Gibney. Love Holly Gibney. Want Stephen King to stop writing Holly Gibney books because they're not good. I skipped over Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang by Callie Lee Baker because this is going to be my vote. This is, again, one of my favorite books of the entire year. I have it displayed on my shelves. It is gruesome, just so depressing, very shocking, and then also just the themes of sisterhood and family and identity, and just like dealing with a crisis. Is it, you know, all in my head, or is it real in my environment? Just everything about this is good. So I'm gonna vote for Bat Eater. I think it's not Kylie Lee Baker's debut, but it is one of the best books of the year, in my opinion. Okay, so favorite debut novel. Oh my goodness. Well, I already voted for Junie, and I actually don't know any of these other books by any of these people. So, I'm gonna vote for Junie because I have read it, and I think that's fair. I do want to read Woodworking. I think that is on my TBR, but other than that, and the names again, but I've only read Junie, so we're gonna vote for that one again, which I'm comfortable with. Let's see if I've listened to any of the audiobooks. I have, and I do declare it was actually a very good one. Okay, so we have some repeats again. Great Big Beautiful Life, Atmosphere, The Devils, My Friends. Most of these are actually repeats from some of the other categories, which is fine, I suppose. We're kind of commenting on the narrator, I think, and just the quality of the audiobook for this one. And I'm actually glad this came up again. I am going to vote for We Are All Guilty here by Karen Slaughter, because in the video that I actually read this in, I listened to it completely on audio, and I commented on liking the audiobook so much. I will link that video somewhere on the screen. So I am going to vote for We Are All Guilty here by Catherine Slaughter. But if you've listened to any of these other audiobooks, especially Atmosphere, let me know in the comments if it's worth me holding out for my hold of the audiobook and not doing the physical for that one. All right, we're getting there. I feel like I'm just like speeding through this, but I make a decision and I like to stick by it. So this is the YA section, and I have actually read books here. So I've read 3 of the books in the favorite YA fantasy and sci-fi section. Let us go through them. So Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is the second in the Crimson Moth duology. I really liked this one. I didn't think it was as strong as book 1, but I still really enjoyed it. And I think it was just like a silly, goofy duology, witch versus witch hunter, and they fall in love. I enjoy that trope. And book 2 tied up the duology pretty well. The story like felt fulfilled. So that was a good one. I did also read Fearless by Lauren Roberts, and I did not like it at all. It needed to be edited. The banter was starting to get cringy. It was just a lot of repeating, and then the ending was absolute nonsense garbage. So we're not voting for that one. Oathbound, I have been saying all year that I'm going to read it, and I haven't read it yet, but I need to. And the last one that I actually have read on here, also I need to do a reread and get to the new Suzanne Collins books, because I haven't read Sunrise on the Reaping or the other new one. This is the 5th one, I think. Anyway, yeah, I need to do a reread to get to the new books for this series, because I haven't yet. But the one that I'm going to vote for is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen, which I am surprised that this is YA. I didn't think it read YA at all. I thought it was very flowery in a good way, very purple prose. There was actual poetry in there, and the ending was a little off-putting, but at the same time, I liked that it took kind of like a darker turn. So I'm going to vote for Our Infinite Fates, because I really actually liked that one, and I'm pumped that it was in this category for me to have something to vote for. All right, we're going on to young adult fiction. Yeah, this one was going to be questionable. I haven't read a single one of these. I've never heard of any of these. Tiffany D. Jackson, The Scammer. I have read Tiffany D. Jackson actually, and I would definitely pick this up. I just haven't yet. And also Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the spin-off series to the Inheritance games, I think, but I also haven't picked that one up either. So since I've not read any of these, we're just going to move to nonfiction, because I'm not going to vote. Okay, I've read 2 books on here, and I was gonna say I'm torn, but I'm not. So the two books that I have read on here are The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer. This is, she is the author of Braiding Sweetgrass. She is an Indigenous woman and a professor of botany who really just has a beautiful way of connecting her heritage and her culture to modern day problems and why we need to be practicing reciprocity to our land and to our people to just like be fucking better. And I think that's a really beautiful sentiment. And it was a really good, short, quick read. Highly recommend. I did also listen to the audiobook for Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green, and this was fantastic. So these two were both 5 stars for me, but I am going to vote for this. I liked it just a little bit more, and that's, I think, on, like, being a pharmacist and kind of, like, being, you know, having a little bit more knowledge, I think, than the average person about tuberculosis before I even read the book. So we're going to go with that one. I do also want to read Abundance. I had a hold of it, and I lost it, but very proud of myself. I did complete a goal this year, which that I set for myself, which was I did want to read more nonfiction, and I have. So I don't know what this is, but I kind of want to read it. Why Everything Suddenly Got Worse and What I Want to Do About Enshittification. I want to read that. I don't know what's happening there, but I want it. All right, we've got memoir. I do want to read the Nate Bargatze one because I love him. He's such a good comedian. Okay, so I have read one on here. Only one. I think I want to read that one too. I have a couple of these on my TBR, I just haven't got to them yet. But I did read Careless People by Sarah Wynne Williams, and this is an expose into Meta and Facebook and just the inner workings of this company, which I think we all know is kind of garbage. But this book was like very eye-opening. This woman worked for them. It details her experience in the company as a woman, but also as a minority. And both of those things definitely play into how she is treated at this company. And just the conglomerate that it has become. So I am going to vote for Careless People because the audiobook was also great by the narrator and I loved it. Unsurprisingly, I have not read anything on favorite history and biography. I don't think I would, except maybe How to Kill a Witch, The Patriarchy's Guide to Silencing Women. That has a lot of, I'm gonna give it the old want to read there, because why not expand our horizons? Okay. 20 minutes. I did not think I was going to do that fast. Those were my votes. I don't know what else there is to say on that topic other than thank you for watching. If you did, let me know in the comments if you agree with any of my choices, if you have voted yourself, if you're planning to. What is your favorite book of the year so far? I haven't thought of it. I do have quite a few ideas for end of the year content that I want to get to and that I want to discuss with you guys, but my brain hasn't gotten as far as actually creating any of it yet. So with that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Again, let me know in the comments what your votes / chit chat about my votes in the comments for the Goodreads Choice Awards, and I will see you in the next round of voting and in the next video. Okay, bye!